bringing you the latest news, game updates, insights, highlights, and everything Liberty Hockey. This is Rock the Rink, where Liberty Hockey lives.
And welcome back to another edition of Rock the Rink. Pat Strong, joined by Chris Kerr and Justin Ford here on the campus of Liberty University. Guys, a lot to get into this week, but before we do that, we have to remember that this podcast is brought to you by the Virginia Army National Guard. The next greatest generation is now, and it begins with you. Get a head start on your career in exciting fields like science, communications, engineering, and medicine, along with tuition assistance in the Virginia National Guard. To learn more about the Virginia Army National Guard, check out Join VA Guard on Facebook and Instagram, or email us at nationalguard@liberty.edu. That's nationalguard@liberty.edu. So, guys, great weekend to be a Flame. If you're a hockey
Huge
fan,
weekend.
perfect 8-0 between the four teams that competed.
Very nice.
Yeah, so very exciting things. Got to start things off with the men's D1 team. Had a rival coming in the Sea Wolves. Were able to win both games by 5, 6-1 victory and 8-3 victory on Friday and Saturday. And I think one thing that definitely stands out is all the different goal scorers that filled the box.
I look at it as like finally, this is our first weekend of just like consistent play, 120 minutes, 2 games that, on paper we should win and we did, and it wasn't close. So that's awesome. And I know we're going to get into the power play a little bit later, but yeah, to your point, Pat, of how many different scores that we had this weekend, we've talked about it, just like we have a lot of talent at that forward position.
Yeah.
We're not relying in any way at all on a 1 or a 2 line. It's just like consistent no matter who's on the ice. We have a lot of guys who are dangerous. We have some size, we have some speed, we have some skill, and anyone at any night can kind of go off.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like that we scored in different situations. Power play, 5-on-5, off of face-off play, Mason Smith with a nice one. I really like that line of Essenmacher, Smith, and who else? Barker. Like right now, I think they're playing good hockey. But yeah, it's really nice to see, obviously, Palms with the consistent 5 assists.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Adamak gets, 1 each. So, and Diem, he
got his first. Yep.
Yep. So, like, a little bit of help from the back end, too. And like you said, 8-3 and 6-1, winning by 5 every night. Maybe you don't want to give up those late 2 goals in the third in that second night and just be able to close that out and help Couch out a little bit there on the goal differential. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Sea Wolves were no match for Liberty, and it was nice to see them get 2 very convincing wins.
Yeah, that would be the only asterisk I would put, too, on like, okay, hey, you're up 8-1, probably a little lackadaisical days ago win those last 2 goals. I will give Stony Brook credit. Malik, those were 2 great individual efforts by him. Been able to pot those 2 goals past Couch, but still, I mean, for the most part, pretty complete weekend for the Flames too. I think the biggest thing too, you guys touched on line 4, the new line 4. That was their first game together. All 3 guys potted a goal each. So I think that's huge. And like Annie Corey asked me this question, so I'm going to pose it to you guys. Do you feel like this is the deepest forward lineup we've ever seen in Liberty in recent years? Especially, I know you both have been around here for 10 plus now. So but I'm not talking about just top end talent, but more so complete depth.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just take that line that you just called the 4th line of Smith, Essenmacher, and Barker, like those are arguably top 9 guys in years previous, and like each of those guys you could probably plug in on a top line and then be effective in some way. So you're right in the sense of like, hey, we've got these 3 guys that like a 4th line that can produce at that clip and get on the scoreboard against a top 25 team is awesome.
I think back to the 2020 season that got canceled and the Adrian sweep. We could definitely compare that as one of our best teams in Liberty history. And I don't know right now, I could be wrong, if we have a player that is on a Quinn Ryan level, right? Just sort of is what it is. But then when we look throughout the entire lineup, I don't see a lot of guys that are being put in the game this year because they work really hard. It's more of a like no, this guy could score, this guy could pass, this guy won't make poor decisions with the puck in the neutral zone. So I'm going to say yes. I think from my time here, when I just look, this guy to this guy to this guy, the fastest, the most skilled, the best shooters all around.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I would say that's what I said too. It's like from a top end standpoint, I don't know if you've got that guy that really stood out, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Quinn Ryan, and we've had some other greats too, especially on that team. There was a lot of, but from a depth perspective, I don't think that 2020 team was as deep forward wise as this one is right now. So, and then also too, one thing we have to highlight the defense, right? Like obviously, I think that was a question mark coming into the year. Now that you're 11-1, and even with a lot of banged up bodies, appreciate Nate Cox stepping up and coming and playing 4 games this weekend.
Before the game and thought like, wait, do you remember which team you play for? Yeah. So good to see him.
But yeah, like I think that's a question mark that can be checked off, right? Like, cause like, okay, yep, this is a good D-core that's proven to contribute, not just from getting pucks on net. That's one thing I think they do very well, but then also playing solidly defensively in their own end.
Something we'll hit on with the women's team when we eventually get to them is if you are consistently every single week practicing against great shooters, great puck movers, great vision, that then forces you to get better.
Yeah.
Right? I think between Nick and Conrad, our goalies, they're phenomenal, but they're also facing great shooters every single week, right? If we're able to put up 14 goals on a weekend, all right, take that into practice and drill after drill. So I think a lot of that defensive soundness is coming from buy-in on the team, right? Like it's not just your D, it's your forwards as well in the D zone. Systems execution, credit our coaches, Coach Hughes on the back end there, and then just like making each other better every day. That's a secret sauce for our women's team. When you're shooting against the goalie, you're shooting against one of the best goalies. When you're getting shot on by one of the best forwards and D and so on and so forth. So I think we're making each other better every day. And that could be a huge factor of why we're just playing so well.
Yeah, there's really not much to add to that. It's almost like the perfect answer. So I agree 100%.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Love that. Yeah, real quick, just to rattle out a couple stats. I know you guys mentioned some of them, but yeah, Pomerleau 5 assists tonight again. Currently leads the team, I believe, now in points, along in a little bit of a points battle with Michael DeBrito and Barker, 1 goal, 2 assists each. Eschemacher, 2 goals, 2 assists as well. Huge weekend for him. Monroe and Shields, 2 goals, 1 assist. Feimster, 3 assists as well, along with Nate Cox. Had more points yet with the D1 club than his own team, which is great. But great to see that, he obviously didn't miss a beat. Looked solid with the team. Adamek, 2 goals. Finch, DM, Ratsoff, 1 goal and 1 assist each. And Smith with 1 goal, and then also Cox Smith with 2 assists. So rattled off a lot of names there, and also there were a couple guys that also had 1 apple as well on the weekend. But let's talk a little bit. Kerr alluded to it, the power play. Fourth, you said that the power play was going to be clicking in a well-oiled machine earlier in the year when we were just talking like you loved the movement that you were seeing from it, but it just wasn't potting enough goals. Now you can say 2 consecutive weekends of 5 goals on the man advantage. That has become a really prominent weapon that the Flames got to be excited about.
Yeah, it's really nice to see, right? Like them get rewarded for the things they're doing. They're going through their looks. They're moving it low. They're bringing it high.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I watched with the highlights is they're skating downhill so much, right? They're bringing it up top. They're moving people around, and the defense, their PK is just dropping to the front of the net, which allows guys like DeBrito on the one side or Shields on the other side just to be able to get in a prime scoring opportunity and rip. Or, there's also that backdoor pass. So, honestly, everything is clicking right now, and it's really cool to see.
I think it's more of just a continuation from our last couple games in Nationals last year, right? Like when we went to Nationals, we were really starting to click on the power play. Had some big goals in those games there. So, yeah, something with just the players we have and the coaches sort of just figured it out, right? Everything Justin just said there, and we've been rolling on it. So, what a great weapon to have, right? Yeah. If we could figure that out. I don't know how you can improve for next semester when the big games come around, but if we just maintain this.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, too, the power play, two different completely looks too, right? Like one is more of a high cycle that you see in that first unit, and then that second unit does a really good job of going from high to low consistently, and then you kind of have your big bodies, power forwards, so to speak, that like to move to the front of the net. So good to see two different looks as well from the power play that has both been effective.
Yeah, it just makes it harder on the other team. Right? Even if, like, okay, game one, they have their information. Now they have to watch two separate units in video to say, like, how do we defend these guys compared to how do we defend these guys? And then when you're in a game, like, okay, who's starting? Is it PP1 or PP2? Which, like, so there's a lot more in-game adjustments that these other teams have to make based on what you're putting out there. And Liberty is now dictating what other teams are going to do. And so that puts them in the driver's seat, so to speak.
It's a credit to what we've been talking about depth-wise of having 10 players that could see the ice, make the reads, move the puck, take the shot, skate downhill, battle net front, get rebounds, keep the puck in the zone, everything there.
Which you really like to see. So now LU, as I just said, 11-1 on the season. They have a short week this week because they now are going to travel up north to face the Purple Eagles of Niagara. Niagara, if I'm not mistaken, coming off of a series versus Sunny Brockport, which they were able to win 6-2 in CA D3 school. And then the last series that they had versus an ACHA D1 team was top 20 Indiana Tech, who they were able to win 6-1 and 4-3 in overtime back on October 10th and 11th. Have to remember too, these two teams split last season. Niagara won the two series up at Niagara, both in shootouts. 1-0 and then 3-2. Liberty won the both series here at home, 2-1 in overtime and then 5-3. So talk a little about like what we're excited to see from now this top 10 matchup that is going to happen Thursday and Friday this week.
Yeah, I think even the year before, maybe when they were here, I think they split here at home. And so I think right now Niagara sees Liberty again as a top 5, top 4 team. And so everybody's circling the Liberties, the Adrians, the Minots. So like if you keep a game close against one of those teams or beat them and steal one, your stock goes up, so to speak, in the yearly ranking. So they're going to be ready. I like that it's a Thursday game. Get the guys out of here tomorrow, probably get in a day early. And just, again, power play, 5-on-5. Honestly, everything that you've been doing, just continue to tweak those little things. And like we said, okay, it was 8-1. And if you watch when there was a turnover in the neutral zone in the last 6 minutes, the guys just kind of quit on the play. Let the Stony Brook guy come across the blue, make a play. Okay, we need to play full 60 or 120 minutes. But right now we're at a good spot where I think the team just needs to tweak those little areas. And I think they'll be golden.
Yeah, and I think they will in closer matches.
Yeah.
If you're up 8-1, it's hard to keep the throttle going.
Right, agreed.
Right, sixth period of hockey on the weekend, but still.
The question is, what else are you doing?
Yeah, those little mental lapses are just there. You can't be doing them because that habit will settle in a game where you're up by 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden it's tied, and now you're scrambling, and they have the momentum. But yeah, to your point too, for Niagara, they'll have us, Adrian, next week. So I mean, the story for them really is like, this is it. The bulk of the schedule's coming. Let's bear down. Let's get ready. But when we head up there, I just don't want any distractions of like, all right, we're playing on a Thursday or some weird times. We just need to play games and win. That's really it. I need another sweep out of
business trip.
Yes,
agreed.
Exactly.
Business trip too. So it'll be exciting to see the Flames do battle with the Purple Eagles. A bit of a slowly become a rivalry over the last couple of years. So it'll be very exciting. Both games are Thursday and Friday at 3 p.m. They're not the only team traveling up to Niagara. Our Lady Flames are also going up to Niagara. But before we talk about that, they were able to take out another rival in the Adrian Bulldogs venue that's typically been troubling for the ladies. That's always been some of their big battles when they go up to Bulldog country, and they were able to thrive very well, winning 4-0 and 3-1. Again, power play is the story. I remember a couple of weeks ago, Rhett, when he did the call for that Lindenwood series, talked about how the power play was moving at an impressive clip on the weekend, 5 for 10 on the power play, and I believe also scored a shorthanded goal. They're 9 for 10 on the PK, gave up 1 goal, and that was on the 5-on-3, so not too surprising there. But very solid showing with the special teams again for the ladies.
Yeah, I'll just word it as same thing with the men. Like, we are just so deep, skill wise. Like, we have so many girls that could score, and just seeing the detail orientedness and seeing the drills that they put into practice to kind of prepare for the power play. It's no wonder that they're moving at such an impressive clip. And I think right now too, a big focus for the team, it seems to be shot selection, right?
Yes.
In years past, it was shoot, right? We'd have games where we'd have 50, 60, 70 shots sometimes. How do you only score one goal? Right? So taking that extra little bit of space, and I think of one of Zasha Adamak's goals coming down. I think she carried the puck across the blue line and then just kept going in, finally gets inside the dot, takes her rip, and puts a top shelf there. Little things like that, like, man, they're really adding up, and that power play, it's vicious. You can hear the Adrian announcers if you watch. They're like, don't let him get it. Don't take a penalty.
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do that.
Not to derail us completely, but Coach Forth, you've been up to Adrian a couple times. I'm watching the games on ACTV this weekend.
Yep.
Have you stayed at the for as many years as I can remember, the scoreboard title sponsor, Carlton Lodge?
Yeah. In our early years, we stayed there all the time.
Is it incredible?
I mean, it is in the sense of, like, it's what you would think.
Yeah. Okay.
It's it's built like a log cabin.
Oh.
And
that's pretty cool.
The lobby is kind of like you're sitting in the lobby. You see almost everybody go up the stairs and across.
Wow.
Alleyway that way.
I like that.
Yeah, and I think there's a pool, but obviously we never allowed the team to really muck it up in there.
Yeah.
But it was like the nostalgic before the standard of hotel went up.
Yes.
I would say, like, it's one of my favorite places we stayed.
Because I would always like.
Yeah, you're right.
This year I'm like, man, this is like 6 years in a row I've seen Carlton Lodge. It must be the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
It's got to be
it's
impressive.
nice. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I had to get that out there.
No, I love
for the lure.
Love the little I guess ad for them as well, right?
Yeah.
So hey,
if you're in Adrian next year,
that's right.
Carlton Lodge, that's where it's at.
Absolutely. So yeah, obviously Lady Flames doing Lady Flame things. Another very impressive win. Now moved to 6-0 in ACHA play. No, wait, sorry. They're not 6-0, 8-0, right?
8-0, yeah.
8-0 in ACHA play.
Yeah.
So yeah, great showing for them, winning against Adrian. A lot of goal contributors as well. Sophia Adamak led the way with 1 goal, 2 assists. Her sister Zasha 2 goals as well. Shaw, which I'm sure that was an interesting weekend for her, going back to her old stomping ground where she helped them win a national title. 1 goal and 1 assist. Oaks 2 goals. Ellis, Fussy, and Sauer also with a goal each. As I said, 5 for 10 on the power play and a shorthanded goal. So really, that was the story there. But now they move on and take on Niagara.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming up here, who are 2-2-2. So 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. Coming off of a series where they beat Indiana Tech 2-1 each. So this is a game I feel like Liberty feels like they should be in control as well again, especially after last year when they won all 3 meetings. And then if Keith plays in one of them, I think they're hoping to get her in a shutout. Which, actually, before we move on, real quick, talking about Alex
Can't say
Keith.
that word.
Sorry.
I guess we're not in the game, so
we're not there yet. Okay. I won't ask the question then. I was going to ask, like, what's the record for most shutouts for a women's team?
So we kind of talked about that last week, or I've been thinking about it, and it's got to be close this year. I don't know if Mrs. Kerr was ever on a team where
she had the
shutouts were a
record
thing. I know Nadia Rupli was pushing that record as well, and I know Amanda's story's got to be close.
Yeah, I'm just curious how close Keith is to the record, because I remember
freshman year, her first semester, she had a ton.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, it was like the story Keith kind of combo or Meb's story. So, like, it's got to be anywhere from like 8 to 10 in there, and because of Keith playing maybe more games this season as the clear starter, I think she's got to be pushing that record.
Right.
We'll have to dive into the record books and find that.
That's right. We'll look that up anyway. But
well, I'll say this too. Like, it's awesome we won. It's awesome we sweep, but I'm still mad of like
I'm
so mad we gave up a goal. And again, it was a 5-on-3. Like, it is what it is. Those are tough situations for 2 minutes to battle that out. But I wanted the fear in the rest of the league to be like, wow, they've gone 8 games and haven't let in a goal.
That's right.
Now someone who doesn't do their investigative journalism is like, okay, someone scored on them. They didn't. It wasn't 5-on-5. It wasn't 5-on-4. It was 5-on-3. So yeah, I'm a little salty and rattled. But for this weekend, I want 2 more goose eggs. Let's just dominate.
Yeah, and I think just based off of the numbers, right? Like 7 of your 8 goals. Did I make that up?
Nope.
No, it sounds right.
We're special teams. So you scored 1 5-on-5 goal, and that's not good enough, right? So like, where do you focus that on? This next series against Niagara, you need more 5-on-5 goals.
Yep.
Right. You are a far better team than Adrian, than Niagara. There's no reason why you're only getting 1
good point.
in a weekend. So obviously special teams are good, but I'd like to see the look for a little bit more 5-on-5 execution on that end.
Yeah, I like that as well. That's a good note. One of our rare notes probably that we always give for the women's team. But yeah, obviously you want to see more. It's good that they're taking advantage of the power play when it comes, because who knows how things are going to be in the postseason when they only get 1 opportunity or something like that. But yeah, you want to see them be able to execute on 5-on-5. So that is going to be exciting to see, is they are up there the same time as the men, Thursday and Friday. So hopefully we'll see them both supporting each other at each other's games. That's
true, right?
But
has that happened before? I can't remember.
That's a good question.
Other than like
I
at
think,
nationals,
Coach Forth would know.
I can't think of a time where we've been in the same location, same dates.
I feel like it hasn't.
What about Midland? Did they go?
Well, the men's never played Midland, so
yeah, that I know of, for at least in my era. Last 10 years.
Can't really think.
And I think the ladies have only gone to Midland once.
And never mind not?
No, not at the same time.
No, definitely not. This should be a pretty special weekend though, for the amount of like near Niagara, or we'll just call it like Ontario based girls that we have. Hopefully there's a good show out for the Flames.
Agreed.
Too. We have to bring it up, otherwise Senior's not going to be too happy. Yeah, go ahead, Pat. What happened?
Yeah, Mr. Adamek let us know that all 3 Adameks also scored on Friday's game. So that's kind of a exciting time, I'm sure, for their family. Like, oh yeah, we all got on the board this weekend, and trying to keep pace. Sophia won the weekend as she had more points than the other 2. So, but at the same,
they've been playing for what, at least 2 years. I'd say it's about time. I think old Mike Senior needs to have a conversation, a family meeting, so to speak. So, Mike, this one's on you, buddy.
Yeah, I'll send you down there to be winners.
What is going on? You waited this long.
That's perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, that's more motivation for them.
Yeah, perfect segue into moving on to our women's Division II team, who only have 1 game this weekend after taking last weekend off. Been Road Warriors, finally, the home opener, which I know.
This is the home opener.
Yeah. Wow. Coach Forth is, I'm sure, ecstatic. And so is his family.
Yeah, but it is in a weird time. Like 1 o'clock, it's like, okay, my family's still
on a Sunday too.
Yeah, my family's still at church. I have my daughter; she should be napping. Got to find a babysitter, or I'll just bring her on the bench with me.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah,
she'll love it.
Transition her into the game.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Depends on how it's going.
I'm not allowed to leave her at home, so I probably should bring her.
Rena, we need to scratch this girl today. Why? No reason.
And we need a suite.
Yeah.
That's right. So, but yeah, going to be an exciting matchup. Liberty 11-1 on the season, 9-1 in ACHA play. Will take on High Point 4-0 in play all games in the ACCHL. They are recently coming off of a pretty significant win, 8-0 and 5-1 over Westchester. So that is going to be really huge to see. And also, too, the biggest thing about that Westchester weekend, talking about some of High Point's big guns, they have 2 fantastic 4 of ladies that have really been lighting it up. Going back to Westchester real quick, they outshot them 116-25 in that series.
Are you sure you're not looking at the
I'm not looking at the women's D1 scores a couple weeks ago, because I had to look this up.
Yeah, double check.
56-7 and 60-18 in game 2. But yeah, they have a couple big time goal scorers. Kaylee O'Brien, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points on the season. Emerson Emerson, almost said Emerson.
Oh, you are looking at theirs.
Emerson, Marin G, 10 goals, 6 assists or 16 points. Georgia Cross, 9 goals, 3 assists, 12 points. And Naomi Evangelista, 8 goals, 4 assists for 12 points on the season. So you've got now 4 girls with 8 goals or more on the season.
Dang, that's
running away for you. And you've only played 4 games in ACHA play. Yeah. So these ladies are really commanding the way. So that's got to be exciting.
It's great. Game, right? And we love that, right? We want to play against good teams. Yeah. We want to play against talented players because that's what we're going to see at conference.
Right.
That's what we're going to see in Villanova. That's what we're going to see at nationals, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, and the fact that they're a close team, great. Let's
better.
Let's schedule them more. We'll play them.
Exactly.
Let's play them 6 times, right? So I love it. It's exciting for our team, forwards, defensemen. Hey, let's shut these girls down. Let's make sure they score 0 points this weekend, or do the best we can. But it's good to be back at home for the first one this year. And we're excited to get going. It's a one game, so practice this week should be good, intense. Push them in for one game and then moving on. But I'm very excited to be at home this weekend.
Yeah, it should be exciting, too. This is a potential. I know you got them again next semester for one game, but this could be a 3-time. You play them 3 times because you have the ACCHL showcase right before Thanksgiving break. Mm-hmm. They're in the ACCHL, so this could be a chance that you guys play them as well and there for, if not 1, if not 2 games. So this is an exciting matchup coming up here, and as our lone game here in the LIC this weekend, too. So very exciting. So you should come out and watch the Lady Flames do battle, or also they can watch the broadcast, too, because we're streaming. So that's right. So it'll be very exciting. But moving on, a team that is finally starting to cook. That's men's right. Division 2, making it 4 straight, 2 series sweeps. Talked about them last week, beating Virginia Tech. This was a big one, defeating Miami, Ohio, 5-1 and 4-1, powered by, in game 1, 4 goals in the first period, really led the way. So that has been very exciting to see them now slowly, feels like getting in a rhythm and finding their identity.
Yeah, it's nice. I turned the game on that first game, and it was, near the end of the first period, I was like 4-0. So like I had domination. Not that I was surprised.
You're just wondering, is Miami good?
Yeah, no, I had to scroll back and see what happened. Yep. And they kind of scored in bunches, so to speak. Right. Like 2 quick ones, a little bit of a gap, 2 quick ones, right? So, and I think that just kind of speaks to the type of talent that this Liberty team has. And again, just watching, again, I like Frederick.
Yes,
I don't know if is he recently back, maybe from injury?
Yes. So his first series was that Lindenwood series. That was his first set of games.
Yeah.
After being injured, where he had 2 assists in game 2, and then he's really been moving for 6 goals in 4 games.
Yeah, and so like every time he touched the puck, he seems like he's that player at this level. Like, okay, every time he touched the pucks, he can make something happen. He's dangerous, right? So, and that's great that you're getting those guys healthy and back in, but the fact that they only allowed 1 goal on the weekend is huge.
Yes.
Right? Love that. And I think Selke's playing good hockey as well. And so, like, top to bottom, I thought they were the better team all weekend long. I know Miami's young, and they're going to be talented. But I think Liberty's further ahead in their season right now, and it's really nice to see them at 7-8 on the season.
Yep.
Going into a very difficult weekend.
That's right. Coming up here in a few weeks, they're going to head to that St. Louis showcase, which we'll break down as we get closer to that. But yeah, it's good to see them now slowly, you could say, getting in a rhythm, especially ahead of the first Southeast regional ranking, which will be good now, almost at 500. Key thing, though, for them, have to discuss, like you just said, Cooper Frederick, how he's been a huge spark, I feel like, offensively for this team to have that dynamic of a playmaker out there.
Yeah, and just prelude to what's coming this weekend. Cooper's going to be traveling with a men's 1 team up to Niagara as well. Yeah, just filling a little bit of a role there. So excited for that. And when you look at the score sheet too, you see your vets scoring the goals like they need to, but also kind of your newer guys to be able to get 5 goals on the weekend from Fredericks and Kovac. That's huge. And that's what they need, right? And I was talking with Coach Graham this morning, just mentioning like, I either said in the pod a while ago or watching the Northeastern series, it's like, okay, I'm a believer. Like, it's just going to take a little bit of time.
Yep.
That's what he said. He's like, hey, we're finally at a point where things are really starting to click, where we are trying to modify or change maybe some habits that guys came in with of like, hey, we need to shift this, we need to break this a little bit. That buy-in is really starting to click now too. And I think as well, a secret weapon that people don't really get to see is the coaches are really putting in their time. Monday mornings, there's some, we're just going to call it open ice, and Coach Graham is with 8 guys on half of that ice week after week, kind of rotating people through. The culture is really solid and the work is being put in.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too. You talked about the buy-in, right? Like you knew changing, basically you brought in, if I'm not mistaken, 17 or 18 new players.
Exactly.
Getting them all to understand not only the collegiate way of playing the hockey style, but also I believe we've all talked about it or off the pod and in different areas. A lot of them coming in being, oh, I was the guy on my team. No, I'm not the guy. Changing my role to fit whatever role they're trying to be in this more community team-oriented style game, which I think is now starting to really come to fruition for them.
Yeah, it's hard because like anybody coming into college is trying to be seen.
Yeah.
So it's maybe that hero mentality in junior hockey or like, hey, there's a scout, so I need to do like now that doesn't matter. Like this is where you play hockey.
Yeah.
How can we build a program that we are competing for a national championship every single year? And I think the coaches believe that it can happen
for sure.
And the guys are starting to believe, and it's really cool to see them like through some adversity, scratching and clawing their way back towards that 500 hockey. And I, like you said, I think they're believing it as well.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on, because I know we got to head to men's D3, but would be remiss to not talk about the goaltending as well. Catching fire. Last week, Andrew Young had a phenomenal showing versus Virginia Tech, going back-to-back and helping them win this season series, which kind of had, I feel like, sparked this group. And then CJ Selke had a phenomenal weekend as well, 52 for 53 in game 1 and saves, and then 37 for 38 in game 2. So
how many shots in game 1?
Yeah,
53. And he made 52
That's a new
saves,
concern
right?
I didn't have.
Yeah, so that's my only. Defensively, that would be the only thing I would think of too as well, because in game 1 as well with Andrew Young, he had 40 plus saves as well, and I believe it was north of 45. So you're kind of like maybe tighten up a little bit in that defensive zone structure. They should not be ripping that much off.
And again, it could be like, okay, what are quality shots and what are
exactly
just, from the perimeter,
straight to the glove, from the perimeter.
Yeah.
So, but really good to see
Great to see
the goaltending battle really now shaping up for those two, and so I think it's going to complement and help them as they move forward, paving the way for them. Moving along now, we got one more team, men's D3, once again doing men's D3 things, dominating.
Yeah,
played William and Mary this past weekend, 6-1 and 8-0. One thing that we talked about, wanted to see them tighten up things defensively. They were able to do that after only giving up 1 goal on the weekend while scoring 14 in a 2-game series, and they seem to get better. So, like, this offense really has been clicking in the games that they've played now. 6 games on the season, they've outscored the competition 38-11. So this is which is averaging about over 6 goals a game and giving up less than 2 a game. So this has really been a team that's balanced in both areas.
I said it to them on Wednesday as they were leaving the weight room of like, hey, we know we could score. Yeah. We got to tighten things up though. So huge credit to the boys coming out this weekend. And in a game where like, all right, if you're scoring 8 goals, we're dominating at that point. Very easy, as we kind of mentioned with the men, to start to slack off a little bit. Right. But the fact that we were able to get that shutout game 2 is awesome and very, very good as we continue to move forward here. And then I just think this is a great year so far. Losing a game early, probably the best thing that could have happened to us. Where
especially on the road,
a lot of new guys with men's D3 as well. So just to put that kind of added pressure in there. It's helpful and it's paying off, and the coaches are doing fantastic. I don't think we talk enough of like going from player immediately into a coach role like Coach Mikey Williams has done. Like that's tough, but he put all the work in last year, having that servant leadership type of mindset, and it's rolling over. And more on that as well. I spoke with maybe it was Monday, Thomas Mujan of like, hey, way to go, right? Like last year was one of the best years this team has ever had, and you continue to carry that torch. It's hard to do. It's hard to repeat the magic, so to speak.
Yeah, especially with almost half a new team.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just continuing on what you had, even though it's completely different from a locker room perspective. It's awesome. We're going to have some good things going on here.
Yeah, like you touched on the leadership in that locker room coming off of last year, and how, let's just be honest, like they underperformed by their standard.
Yep.
Right? Like you lose that game, like that's a game you should have, could have won. Mm-hmm. And we want to get back there and we want to win. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the message of like, hey, we're going to play some dud teams. We're going to wipe some teams out, but we have to be good. And the ultimate goal is that conference, and then obviously AAU nationals. So like I think they have their set goals as a team, and it seems like in the weight room, like you said,
they're crushing it.
And on ice, they're working towards that. And I don't think anything's really going to get in their way at this point.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. So like, let's talk a little bit about the offensive side of things, though, real quick. Like, what do you feel like has been the key reason for the offensive domination? To me, I feel like it is something Coach Kerr preaches about constantly, and to go back to the 2019 Nationals of us in Dallas together. It was, and I could see the click in his brain instantly. He just knows, like, all right, I'm going to change the dynamic because I'm going to make sure consistently, not only obviously you want them to have the legs, but that my teams are the fastest teams on the ice. And I think the speed factor has been the reason why we've seen so much success from NC3.
Yeah, and to continue on with that, it's not just like skating speed, but execution speed as well, right? There's the game speed aspect to it, and a lot of that comes from, like, you just have to be fast in practice. You can't go 50% all week and then just show up on game day and expect to go 100%. So when you have a team that works as hard as this team does and like loves it as much as this team does, they're going to be pushing themselves. They're going to be pushing the pace in practice. You got to credit the coaches for having a good practice layout. But yeah, everything we're doing from an off-ice perspective is towards speed on the ice in terms of your decision making, and then in terms of like your just raw horsepower that you have, and it's coming out. And you could just see. Just look at the bodies of the players. Like, okay, they're not the biggest bruisers. You know, we have some meat on the team for sure with a couple of the boys, but they're going to be high skill, high speed guys, and they're executing. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think too that Coach Wags and Williams aren't putting these guys offensively in a box, and they're not putting them in a structure that you have to stick to. Yeah. Obviously, they have their systems that you have to be a part of so that we can work as a unit, but I think they're allowing them to be creative and putting each of their own flair offensively and to have fun with it. So I think that's a huge reason why they're being so successful as well.
Yeah, I would agree so too, and I like that. And so they have a little bit of a layoff now, not seeing any action until November 14th to 15th. They will be back at home though when they take on VMI. But guys, yeah, it was an exciting weekend of hockey. Like I said, 8-0 for 4 of our teams, and this weekend we have a few that are doing battle. Men's 1 and women's 1 will be on the road, and women's D2 will be here at home. So any final thoughts before we head out?
Great weekend. Got to continue it on.
There you go. Yep, last weekend too, prior to the first computer ranking that's going to come out next week as well. So this is a big weekend for both the D1 teams as well, because they have their first computer ranking before everyone else. So yeah, it'll be exciting. But thanks for tuning in to this episode of Rock the Rink, and yeah, we'll see you next week.